An urgent investigation is underway in Sydney to trace the source of 2 COVID-19 infections, as warnings are issued for a swathe of venues in the city's east. Overnight, a second person has tested positive after a man from Bondi in his 60s was confirmed to have the infection yesterday. That's the second case. It's a household contact.
The positive cases visited numerous shops and cafes in Bondi Junction, Vaucluse, Redfern, Zetland and North Ryde in the past week, including a cinema on Sunday afternoon. Testing clinics in affected suburbs are opening for extended hours with a new pop-up site in inner-city Surrey Hills. Big developing story this morning. Let's go straight to Lara Himes in Bondi Junction with the latest. Lara, good morning. So take us through these latest cases.
Good morning, Michael. Well, some of these details are still emerging as they only really came to light last night. The man in his 60s and a household contact testing positive to COVID-19. One of the biggest concerns for officials is that this gentleman is not a return traveller. But what we do know is that he does operate a driving service, and as part of his job, he is required to transport other international flight crews around. That will be a source of investigation for authorities there. We don't know too much about him, but we do know some of the locations that he had been visiting. He mainly was centred in the eastern suburbs, particularly around Bondi Junction, especially where I am now. So that is a note of concern. And this is all on the back of a case yesterday involving an individual and a couple in hotel quarantine where there was a suspected COVID-19 leak. These two parties were residing in adjacent rooms to each other at the Radisson Blu Hotel. So a busy day ahead for officials.
And a number of exposure sites have been added, many in that Bondi Junction area.
Particularly in the eastern suburbs, Michael, that is where the focus will be for some of these health authorities. The individual visiting both department stores in Bondi Junction, located in both sectors of the shopping centre. An area that they want to focus on as well is a screening of a film that was over the weekend. Other areas of concern in Zetland and Redfern in the inner east, and also in the upper North Shore in North Ryde. So that list growing quite extensively. That has just happened overnight. There's been an extension of hours for several pop-up clinics, particularly in the eastern suburbs, and the addition of a new pop-up clinic, a testing site located in Surrey Hills in the inner east of Sydney.
Lara Himes in Sydney, thank you so much. We'll come back to you over the course of the morning. Meanwhile, anyone in Queensland who has visited one of those COVID exposure sites in New South Wales has been ordered to immediately get tested and isolate at home for 14 days until told otherwise. Queensland Health has issued the direction in response to those Sydney cases of COVID, and the state's chief health officer says they'll be closely monitoring the situation in coming days.
Victoria is waking up to its last day under a number of COVID restrictions, with measures set to ease further from midnight tonight. Melburnians will no longer be bound by the 25-kilometre travel limit. Gyms will reopen and people will be able to take their masks off outdoors. 2 guests plus dependents can be invited into homes, and groups of 20 will be able to gather outdoors.